Guys, there's some stuff that I haven't been sharing with you, and it's time to finally do that. Welcome to Expedition Ranch. That's right, guys. This is a 3-bay barn dominium sitting on 150 acres. And it's a big part of the future of this channel. I got my current ambulance here. I got another truck here. And, well, you can guess what that is.
While you guys have been watching the Colorado to Utah series, I've been on an entirely different adventure.
Guys, there's a lot going on for 2024. But let's start by checking this place out. All right, guys, this is the back half of the property. And this property is super important because I have a ton of projects that I'm gonna be doing this year and I need a place to work on them. That one of my Patreon members has actually let me come onto his property and stay here. Like I said, it is 150 acres and there's only that little barn there that's on here. Pretty much nothing else. Honestly, this is my dream one day. I want to have a piece of property like this, a barn dominium. That's kind of my personal goal. So coming out to this property, ideal. Now let's go check out the barn. Woo! Dude, do not go down this. There we go, here's how I came in. All right, guys, let's check out the shop. This right here is where we're gonna be taking on the next rig build, as well as finishing my current ambulance and doing a 4-wheel drive conversion on that truck. So I still need to move in here and get everything organized, but this is where I'm gonna be for at least the next 6 months. And you guys are really gonna like this. This shop doesn't have any heat and, well, I'm in Colorado, so it's gonna be cold. So for my office, we basically have this little insulation fort, which is where I've been working, and I'm keeping it warm with a space heater. See, it is very simple. Just got cheesy table. This isn't even a table. This is just plywood with sawhorses. But I do have a workstation, which is really all that matters to me.
Securing this shop was really just the first part of the plan. It was a requirement for all of the other projects I have going on this year. And just to be clear on what those projects are, we're going to be doing a 4-wheel drive conversion to this ambulance. Then the finishing touches to get it ready for the giveaway. And the giveaway in and of itself is a huge project. It honestly would have been a lot easier just to go ahead and sell it, but I also think it's a really interesting opportunity, and the idea of working with a nonprofit and actually doing something to help protect our public lands as well as maintain our access to it, I really like that. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about that later, but right now all you need to know is that when this giveaway happens, I'm gonna be homeless. So that means I need to build another rig. When I finally got to Moab, I met up with my buddy Tom.
It's wild. It's like a sheer cliff, dude.
We left the ambulance in Moab with a sweet old lady who was a fan of the channel. Then me and Tom took his truck all the way up to Idaho, which is where we bought this truck.
It sits pretty high compared to my 2-wheel drive, that's for sure. Big old boom on the back of this thing. Looking at the next ambulance build with a giant crane on the back. You got some flares? Okay. Only for emergencies.
Then Tom had to leave and drive all the way back to Colorado, and I was left here in Idaho in an unproven truck.
So I'm gonna be camping out of this thing. Out of this truck for like the next week probably. Hopefully it's only a couple of days, but honestly I really don't know.
It was my plan to drive this truck all the way to Washington, where I would pick up an ambulance box that I'd be using as the habitat for this next expedition rig. But for some reason, that seller just disappeared off the face of the earth, and I waited 3 days sleeping in this truck in a Walmart parking lot until I finally gave up on that guy. It wasn't a total waste of a trip though, because while I was in Idaho, I also found a truck that I could rob some parts off of.
All right, we got everything loaded up and secure.
Now I had the truck as the base platform for my next expedition rig, and I also had a lot of the components I would need for the four-wheel drive conversion. After doing a quick fluid change in the transmission, I went ahead and drove this truck all the way back to Expedition Ranch. Now it was time to take this truck and this trailer and head across the country to Nevada.
All right, we've been testing our anti-lock brakes going through here. No chains or anything like that. Put bigger tires on the truck, so the chains I have are 3 inches too small. And we're towing the trailer. How you guys doing? I'm gonna cycle the glow plugs a few times. All right, start her up. Right up. So that ambulance up there is actually from the same department that my ambulance is from. Well, I'll tell you this, I'm definitely gonna miss this right here. That looks like it's it. How stable is this right now? It looks pretty untouched.
And now it's time to get this ambulance box onto the trailer. And it was definitely a little sketchy, but sometimes you just gotta work with what you got.
Okay, now we should be able to lower it and it should rest on this. And hopefully the strap holds everything together.
In this case, it was a floor jack and some pieces of wood. That's what we got.
Okay. Now we should be able to remove this here in a second. Okay, we're off this one. So we can sit on this. I like the idea of taking this out of here.
Okay.
I feel like that'll cause more.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
This episode is not sponsored by my health insurance. Well, we got safety. Okay, we're off.
We finally got that ambulance box onto the trailer. Now it was time to drive to Southern California to where I built this truck. I had a barn full of tools, and it was time to pick them up. This is where I built the ambulance. This is the barn that I worked out of. I used to spend hours in there. And now it's time to pack it all up. Except for this other ambulance box, which I'll probably have to come back for at some point.
There is a ton to go through, and I'm just going to take pictures of all of it and actually go through the list later. And all of this is going to go in here at some point.
I decided to unhook the trailer and just drive down to San Diego and enjoy the beach for a few days. I used to surf all the time, but I hadn't been in pretty much a year at this point. I ended up doing a ton of this and paddling and only catching one really crummy wave. The stoke was a little low. But the beach was great compared to the contrasting snow in Colorado. And Ruger really has a thing for the beach. The last thing I needed to load was the Dana 80 rear axle and the Dana 60 front axle. Then it was time to finally get out of California.
The truck has been pulling this trailer really well, about as well as I think that it could pull it. I mean, right now, trailer weighs about 10,000 pounds or so, maybe more than that. And the entire setup altogether weighs about 23,000 pounds. And this truck's doing it. She's pulling the weight. I'm really happy with how this truck is pulling.
And me and Ruger finally made it back to Expedition Ranch after being on the road for about 2 weeks at this point. We got the truck, which is going to be the base for my next home. We got the ambulance box, which is going to be the habitat for my next home. And it also has all my tools inside. And I got a lot of the four-wheel drive components I needed to turn this truck into a four-wheel drive. Pretty much everything is lined up to start off 2024 with a bang. Except for one thing. I'm changing the name of this channel to Expedition Ranch. Why? Because I believe that name best represents my vision for this channel as a whole and the type of content that I really want to make. So for the next few videos, you're still going to see my name, James Williams Ventures, on this channel, but in the next few videos, that's going to eventually change to Expedition Ranch. And Expedition Ranch is really about 3 things: build, explore, protect. Welcome to Expedition Ranch.